What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the podcast. It's episode 615. We are live at Blue Wire Studios in Las Vegas, Nevada at the Wynn Hotel with Michael Unbroken. You were just in Nashville last week, 2 weeks ago, speaking at that event.
Yeah, a line con with Nick Cavuto was there. Amazing dude. David Meltzer, Tori Gordon, Michael Chandler, UFC fighter.
I heard he had a great speech.
Dude, he was amazing. And I think more importantly, it was just good people trying to help people's lives change.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you look at the name. You had Tori Gordon, you had David Meltzer, you had Michael Chandler, you mentioned Nick as well. Like, those are people who truly, genuinely want to help and serve other people, providing the most value as you possibly can. And you develop cool, real, raw, and authentic relationships through that.
Yeah, it's everything, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what's so funny is we grow up in this country and people are like, be afraid of your neighbor. Don't travel. Stay away from those guys.
Don't trust people. They hurt you.
Man, they're scary. And you're like, no, that ain't true. It's fucking propaganda.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get in this and you meet these people and you're like, my group of friends would die for me. They probably hide a body for me too, you know what I'm saying? But I try to keep it on the up and up.
Mm-hmm.
And you look at that and you go, amazing. So how can I reciprocate that? How can I give that to the universe? How can I show up for other people in the same way? Which I think is incredibly important. And so it's an honor to be able to serve, man. I'm not supposed to be here, but I figured it out. And it's like every single day is like, man, thankful, grateful.
You're the host of the Unbroken Podcast. I listened to a few episodes on the way over here. Tremendous show with a lot of great insight for those of you who are either hurting or, looking. There's a lot of people out there that are looking for those core relationships where you can have those deep, intimate conversations. That's kind of a big reason why I do this podcast, too, is to have cool conversations with people that have built cool and unique platforms for themselves and want to have that same level of energy, right? Because sometimes you don't get that from people. You've gone through experiences. I've gone through experiences. People watching have gone through experiences where you just don't get the same energy from people that you care about.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating.
Well, the hard part is, if you really break it down, we don't live in a society that is about having deeply intimate, emotional, and often hard conversations. And so we go through childhood, we go through our teens, we go through our adulthood, and we haven't yet put ourselves in this place of community in which we can talk about the difficulties of life. And so when I decided to create Think Unbroken, not only just the podcast and writing books and speaking, but just the concept of it, man, I was like, all right, how do I take all this really fucking crazy shit that's happened to me? Like, literally, that is like a movie, and help people. It was like a calling. And that's a weird way to phrase it, but I don't have a better way to phrase it. And so I always think about the book. Have you read The Alchemist?
Oh, yeah.
All right. So
Literally just read it 2 weeks ago. A friend gifted it to me for Christmas.
It's a phenomenal book, right? So I've read it every year for the last almost 10 years. And there's a line in the book, of course, the universe will always conspire in your favor. And I used to just be like, why does the universe fucking hate me? Why am I abandoned as a child? My mother, when I was 4 years old, cut off my right index finger. Stepdad, super abusive. Imagine this dude, 6'4", 220, freaking linebacker size, beating up a 7-year-old, right? Homeless, selling drugs to survive, don't have a high school diploma. My 3 best friends got murdered. And I'm sitting here looking at my life, and I'm like, fuck the universe. Fuck all this shit, man. And here's what's fascinating. It was like all of that prepared me to sit down and have this conversation with you.
And it's valid to have those feelings, too.
100%. 100%. But it's also, you can leverage those for excuses, too. I did that for a long time, man. Because here's what happened. Most people don't believe me when I say this. 100% true. 350 pounds at 25. Smoking 2 packs a day. Drinking myself to sleep. High from the moment I wake up to the moment I go to bed. I've made almost $1 million at 25, and I was $50,000 in debt. My car got repoed. My girlfriend leaves me because she finds out I was cheating on her, which she should, because I was being a fucking monster. My little brother goes, never talk to me again. You're not my brother. And so I was leveraging all the chaos and being like, nope, this is who I am because of those things. And then one night, I'm laying in bed, and it just hit me one day. I was like, man, people always call me broken, like you're a loser, you don't matter. And I'm like, nah, that's not how I am. That's not what I believe. That's not how I think. And then boom, Think Unbroken started. And it's just been a mission, honestly, dude. It's very simple. I want to end generational trauma in my lifetime.
It's crazy because when you hear people call you like, "Oh, you're broken," like I know like your dad, your teacher said that you were broken
Yeah,
because you weren't a good student, I guess, compared like GPA, whatever.
sure.
Does not matter. I had like a 1.9 GPA going on my final week in high school. Barely
So
barely passed by, man. Um, but I've never really heard that term before. Like someone saying, "Oh, you're broken." Like
yeah,
nobody's broken.
yeah,
People are different. People are wired differently. People think different things, and you kind of have to maneuver and adjust to how that person thinks and adapt. But like nobody's a broken human being.
yeah,
Maybe mentally people lose their way,
yep.
but you can always find your way back home.
Well, and I think the thing we have to remember too is like you're not whatever people say you are. You're whatever you choose to be. And that is about an identity shift. It's like, are you willing to be that person? Right? Inside of you, right now, there's this thing where you're like, I know I can be that. Well, what are you going to do about it?
Hmm.
Because you can leverage all those things that happen as excuses. And they're valid. Like, good. You're not wrong. And what are you going to do about it?
Mm.
Because if I would have continued to leverage those excuses, I'd be dead right now. 100%. Yep, I'm broken. Yep, I'm a loser. Yep, I'm a piece of shit. Here's the messed up part. Like a lot of the things that people were telling me were kind of true in a lot of ways. Hey, man, you're not a good brother. You're not a good boyfriend. You're not a good employee at the time before I was really getting into entrepreneurship. You're not these things. And I just like, that's just who I am. Which is, dude, it's the most dangerous sentence in the human language. The ultimate fixed mindset. And when you're in that, the thing that happens is nobody can tell you shit. And when nobody can tell you shit, you're always going to exist in the same dynamic that you had already been in.
Hmm.
How does that help you? How does that change your life? It doesn't.
No. And there's like bad habits you got to break too. Like it's not only just like, oh, people tell you one thing, but also you have to get not only out of the mindset that they're right, but you got to get out of the mindset of like breaking out of these bad habits that have helped you spiral down, whether it is doing drugs or, drinking too much or, being around the wrong people. We'll probably talk about that often on this show, right?
Yeah.
It's who you surround yourself
And
with.
here's what's wild about habits too. They become autonomic, right? I wake up, roll over, smoke the cigarette every single day. Get high, get drunk, cruise the internet, whatever, man. And then if you like really sit in it, like really ask yourself, like, why am I doing this? One of the things that's really fascinating about it is if you go deep enough, what you'll recognize, and this was the truth that changed my life. I was like, oh, fuck. I'm treating myself the same way my parents did
Mm-hmm.
in a different way. I'm proving the message of not enoughness, of lack, of indoctrination. I'm living like it's crazy when you become the embodiment of what other people said you're supposed to be. It's the ultimate opposite of who you are. It's the opposite of truth. And then what happens is you have to realize like there's a gap. This is what I understood. Because I'm like, I know I feel destined. Like there's something I'm supposed to do. Like I felt it in my fucking soul.
Mm-hmm.
Literally. Like as a kid, I felt it. I was like, I'm supposed to be great. I didn't know what great meant, right? Because you're a little kid, but I felt it. I was like, I'm going to be great. And I couldn't do that until I changed all of the things that other people had told me I could not be. It's like, man, people are like, I want to be a championship athlete. I want to be the greatest speaker of all time. I want to write best-selling books. I want to have the most awesome podcast. And it's like, okay, cool, good. Now go and do it. And that's the thing. If you want to win a championship, you have to become a championship caliber player for whatever that championship is for you. And I was just like, okay, cool. I'm going to do all the things. And what happened is when I was 25, I'll tell you a quick story. When I was 25, so here I am, again, 350 pounds, 2 packs a day, drinking myself to sleep, 50 grand in debt. Well, one Saturday morning, I wake up and I'm laying in bed, smoking a joint and eating chocolate cake while I'm watching the CrossFit Games at 350 pounds. That's like rock bottom. Like the only way it was about to get worse, because I already had all the other things, but this moment, the proverbial straw, right? And I'm like, all right, this is going to be one of two things. I'm either about to die or I'm about to kill someone. That's what was next. And I picked myself up off the bed and I go in the bathroom. I'm looking in the mirror and I remember being 8 years old. And so the water company had come and turned our water off. Man, I grew up in America, bro, in Indianapolis, in the fucking city. We were so poor and so impoverished because of my parents' decisions that they came and turned our water off. And so I'm looking in the mirror and I remember this moment. And I go into the backyard. I grab this little blue bucket. I walk across the street to our neighbor's house. And because I didn't ask them, because for whatever reason, I stole water. Like I turned on the spigot on the side of their house. I filled up that bucket. I went back across the street to my house. And we used that water for cooking, for bathing, for drinking off of somebody else's thing. And it wasn't the first time and it wasn't the last time, but it was the time where I was like, when I get older, this will not be my life. And on paper, in a lot of ways, it wasn't, but I was still that hurt little boy. And so I had to make a decision. And 13 years later, here I am with you. And it has been nothing but climbing mountains every single day since.
And when you reach, let's call it an obstacle, right? What's the different dynamic compared to when you were a kid going through obstacles and saying like, oh, this sucks, or I'm going to get out of this? Like when you reach, no matter how big or small, when it comes to some of these obstacles that you deal with now, whether it be in business, monetizing things, the more simpler things, like what's the mindset there? How did it switch for you?
Yeah. Well, as a kid, you don't know. And you don't know what you don't know. And I'm looking at my environment. I felt like an inkling, like something's off. I felt that frequently. I was like, this doesn't feel right? And as an adult, one of the things that I realized in retrospect, because we were homeless as a kid, I lived with 30 different families between 8 to 12 years old. 30. I saw every dynamic you can possibly imagine in those 4 years before my grandmother eventually adopted me. And so I'm looking at life and I'm like, I learned a lot of lessons here. And I watched the people who were successful and whatever I deemed as success at that age. And I looked at the people who weren't, and I realized something. The people who were not successful were always complaining. Always. I tracked this back one day and I was like, man, I remember that person complained and that person blamed the world and that person blamed the government and this person blamed their mom and that person blamed. And that's what I was. I was a victim. I was a blamer. And look, I walk around, dude, my mom cut this finger off. Like, that does not go away. The cuts, the scars, the bruises, the skin grafts, like that doesn't go away. And it just hit me. I was like, how does this serve me? And so I made a decision. I'm like, if things don't serve me, I'm removing them from my life. And when I make a mistake, which I do because I'm human, and I will again, I promise, I'll probably look back at this and be like, shit, I shouldn't have said that. Whatever. I'm like, you can't change it. And to be honest with you, I think about this a lot. If people like adopted a little bit more of a nihilistic mentality to their life, they'd probably live a little bit more of a fulfilling life. And I've been a nihilist since I was a kid. It just made sense to me, right? Probably just because of the chaos of childhood. And so now I'm like, this is the juxtaposition, right? This is the dichotomy of it. On this hand, nothing we do matters, right? At the end, when this is all over, it's gone. Maybe somebody will still listen to my podcast. Maybe somebody will find a book, like whatever, right? But it's gone. It doesn't matter. What happened was when you're 5, 7, 12, 14, 25, 35, and 4 minutes ago doesn't matter. And on this hand, every single thing you do in every single moment of the day matters so tremendously that it's going to determine and dictate what happens in your life. And I think if you can adopt that mentality of just letting go of expectation and outcome, and literally, I know people say this all the time, but literally do your best, show up, try, fall down, get back up, pull yourself up, stop playing the victim, stop pretending you're drowning. Most people drown in 2 inches of water and all they got to do is stand up, bro. everything will be different.
Mm-hmm. Like at the end of the day, like in one hand, we're just a speck in space, right? We're just like this ball out in the middle of outer space. And then in one hand, it's like the more you do, the more you try. Like there was kids in middle school, believe it or not, who called me quote unquote a tryhard.
Mm.
Have you ever had people, use that term tryhard? It's like, yeah, that's life, man. You try hard at things. And the more you try and the more things you do, the more opportunities you have and the more success that is going to come out of it. You're going to fail. You're going to fall on your face over and over and over and over and over again. But the more you do, the more successful you're going to be.
Yeah.
You just got to take it.
Yeah. And you have to have expectation of knowing that if you're not dead, you still have an opportunity. Dude, I failed 7 businesses before I had a successful one. I hosted events where nobody came, and then 2,500 people did. I spoke on podcasts where like nobody listened to me for the first episodes. And then we've had a #1 show in the world in 9 different countries. It's like, I'll give you the question people ask me all the time, especially if we're talking about the first book that I wrote. People come up to me and they're like, how do you write a book? I'm like, you sit down and you write a book. It ain't we make things rocket science, man. And I love that you said try hard. Like, yeah, go try. And it's gonna be hard. Go try.
That's how you succeed in life. You try hard.
Who cares if you fail? Like, because to me, I'm like, if you don't go for it, here's the #1 regret that people are gonna have in life is regret. That's it. You're gonna die and you're gonna be like, fuck, man, I never lived my life. You didn't break up with that person. You didn't ask that person out. You didn't get the tattoo you wanted. You didn't open the studio. You didn't try. Like, it's like, cool. What is the point of all this? Eric Thomas, E.T., like, he said something really beautiful one time, and I heard it 1,000 times, but one day it finally made sense. He's like, you should get paid for your pain. You already suffered. You might as well get something for it. And we all go through sufferings. It's going to be different for everybody. Like, my story is a bit of an anomaly in it, right? Because people will measure me and they're like, man, you had this crazy shit happen to you. I'm like, yep, and so did you. It's just different. We're reading different books, but it's all in the same library. And so if you want something, go get it. Why not you? What are you afraid of? And I'll tell you what you're afraid of. It's what most people are afraid of. It's the same thing I was afraid of. Hell, I am still probably afraid of it, right? Something I'm still working through every single day because there's levels to this shit, right? It's success. People are terrified to succeed. What if it did work, right? Playing this imposter syndrome bullshit game. It's like, yeah, you're going to be an imposter. Fine, whatever. Go do it. You won't be one once you do the thing. On the lead up, it's hard, right? You can't tie your shoes the first time. And then one day you can. And then guess what? Now you have the identity of a person that can tie their shoes. And that's the thing, man. It's like, okay, you're scared? Great. Now you know you should do it.
Now, do you think people are legitimately scared? Like they think in their minds like, oh, I don't want to do this because I can't carry the burden of this. Because I know a lot of people who
Sure.
say they want the success, and as soon as it starts coming, out come the self-saboteurs, right? And you don't even realize you're doing it.
Yeah.
Like something good happens and you're like, well, I'm so used to bad things happening or just underwhelming things happening that you just revert back into that cycle of accepting that for what it is instead of going out and grabbing this one thing that's closer than you think it is.
Think about this for a second. Growing up, especially if you grow up in most Western societies, America especially, this country especially, this education system is a lie. Your parents are liars. Your community is liars. Your friends are liars. Everybody's lying to you all the time. Do you know why? Because they're always like, man, I don't know. I wouldn't do that if I were you. You better go the college route. Man, make sure you show up to school on time. Read the books. Man, I couldn't tell you anything about math. Nothing. What does that have to do with anything? Like, how does it start? And so now you're indoctrinated with all these thoughts, all these concepts about enoughness that automatically from the jump, you're not enough. Yo, I remember in my elementary school, I'll never forget this shit. Like, straight up, this is 100% legitimate. We had one of those boards in the hallway where they'd pin stuff on. Here's the dance, here's the this, here's the that. All right, whatever, community board, right? And it would get redesigned every month or every week or whatever. And one time it said, you can be anything, but you probably won't be a basketball player, so go get an education. Whereas we should be telling every kid, go be a basketball player. Go be a rock star. Go be a doctor. Go be a fucking astronaut. Go do whatever you want because you're going to fucking die, so you might as well. And we just lie to children. And so guess what? Now you've been spending your whole life going, I'm not supposed to be this because that's what they told me. I'm supposed to be dead or in jail, bro. And it's been close many times. I've been in handcuffs. I've lost my best friends. I got murdered over drugs. My mom OD'd. I was homeless. I don't have a high school diploma or a college education. They literally gave me my high school diploma, and they were like, we're just done with you. We're going to let the streets handle your ass. And it's like, cool. You can keep playing that game and that indoctrination. And then you can go, all right, what if? What if I could be this thing over here? The self-sabotage, man, that's a mind game. And the only way you get through it is you take action. Because if you're like, man, who am I to write a book? Who am I to make a podcast? Who am I to speak on stages? Who am I to go be the CEO of a major company? Who am I to whatever? I go, why not you, man? Why not? Because they told you can't? Motherfuckers tell me I can't do shit all the time. Good, watch me. Come physically stop me. Because that's the only way I'm not doing it.
Isn't it strange how people will go out of their way to tell you that you can't do something?
It's weird,
Like,
man.
there's a lot of people that'll say, like, maybe behind your back, like, oh, I don't know if that's what's best for him. And you're just, like, analyzing things on your own. But to actually tell someone to their face, like, you shouldn't do this.
And here's what's funny, dude. When you respond and you go, you don't know what's best for me, they go, oh, he's crass. He's egotistical.
He's in denial.
He'll never make it. I'm like, watch me. I believe in, man, we just had the Super Bowl, so I'm going to call it to attention. There are people cheering louder for those teams than they cheer for themselves. And they wonder why they're not successful. And they're surrounded. None of the friends I have in my life are the people in my teens or in my 20s. Not one. Literally not one. And I had hundreds of friends. When I partied, when I drank, when I got high all day, when I hooked up with chicks, when I'd go to the bar and pay the $1,000 tab to make all my friends like me for a night. They were always around. When my car got repoed and I was in debt and I was at rock bottom and I had to pick my ass up and I made a decision, fucking leave this city, and I moved across the country, not one of those fucking people came to see me one time.
Bye-bye.
Not one. I got friends in my life who literally will get on a plane at a drop of a dime to come and support me. And I would do the same for them because like attracts like. That is your energy. And so if your energy's all fucked up and you're around people who are telling you can't succeed, you ain't going to succeed. Get those people out of your life. And Jack, here's the hard part, and this is going to fuck somebody up right now. One of the reasons you're probably not succeeding is your mom. I'm not saying like get rid of your mom. I had to. At 14, heading into 15, I put a restraining order on my mom. Me. At 18, after she attacked me one night, I told her I will never talk to you again. Until the day she died, I think I talked to her one time. I would not be here with you right now without that choice. And like that's an extreme, right? I pray that people don't have to do that shit because it sucks. Running businesses, speaking on stages, this conversation is 1,000,000 times easier than that. Mm-hmm. And my mom was a drug addict and alcoholic, and she lost her legs, and she fucking died of an overdose in some middle of the nowhere place, and nobody knew where she was in Indiana. And it's like, okay, great. I can let that stop me forever. Or I can step into this and go, I recognize the impedance, the thing in front of me that's keeping me trapped. And I go, it's my mom. And then I go, it's my grandma. And then I go, it's my community. It's my friends. It's my location. It's my career. It's me. And when I went down this, man, and there were days Bro, it was so fucking lonely. Like, I don't mean alone, I mean lonely. Packed up all my shit, moved across the country. What are you willing to do to have the life you want to have? The answer for me was no excuses. I'll do anything within my moral character, of course. I mean, if I could get away robbing a bank, I mean, I might. But, I looked at my life and I was like, all right, cool. What do you want? And ultimately, at the crux of all of it, all the intersections kind of led to the same place, Jack. Love myself for who I am. That's it. That's the whole fucking game. Can you get there?
What age did you think that you truly got there? Because there's definitely an obstacle. You relearn that shit every day, right?
Yeah.
But like, at what point did you finally say, like, I have to love me before I could not only love anybody else in my life, but build anything else with my life? Because if you're not on the same page with yourself, like, you're not going to do anything. Like,
Yeah.
you can't operate on any level.
That's such a good question. Dude, I've been interviewed hundreds of times. No one's ever asked me that question, so I love that question. Thank you. I would have to say there was a time when I was in men's group therapy, and that's a weird thing to step into, right? Just in general in the society where people are like, don't cry, don't be a little bitch, don't be a pussy, right? Which is nonsense. Like, it's fucking fine. Cry. You're a fucking human. Let it go. Stop being a bitch. Cry, right? Flip it on its head. And I'm in this men's group therapy, and one of the guys goes, you don't know how to be angry. And I was like, yes, I do. He goes, no. And I'm 31 at the time. This is 7 years ago. He goes, you know how to be violent. You know how to break shit. You know how to destroy. You know how to tear down. You don't know how to handle the emotion of anger. And I sat in it for a moment. I was like, I'll show you, motherfucker. My first thought was like, I'll choke you out right now, dog. And I was like, all right, cool, whatever. I can't choke anybody and probably shouldn't choke people in general, right? And I was like, all right, I'm going to go deal with this. So that night, I bought a red journal. I still have this journal to this day. I have multiple of them. It's my anger journal. When I'm pissed off, I write in it. And so that night, I get back to the place that I was staying in Portland with someone who I didn't know, who was a complete stranger, because I was like, this is what I just have to be in this space. What am I willing to do? I just start writing and writing and writing. My hand hurt, literally physically hurts. I can't even hold the pen anymore. I've been writing for hours. The pages are covered in tears. All of the things that I had been hiding. You know more about me in 20 minutes than people who knew me for 27 years, 30 years, right? And I just kept going and going and going and going. And what happened was, in the middle of it, I was like, a revelation of sorts. Because I was like, if you can't have all emotions, how can you have any emotion? I'd been devoid of them. Dude, my stepdad would beat me till the point where tears literally couldn't come out. And then it all turned off one day. I didn't cry for 15 years. Found out my mom died, found out my best friend died, found out like all this crazy shit, having this conversation with my brother, losing everything that I tried to build, never cried. Breaking girls' hearts, never cried. Nothing. Emotionless. Watch a great movie, something emotional, never. Nothing. Totally turned off. And that night, as I wrote in that journal, man, that thing was covered in fucking tears. And that's when I kind of realized, like, it really made sense to me. It's like, you have to have all these emotions. You have to let them exist, dude. Like, let this be. Terrifying, man. Terrifying. To this day, the scariest thing I ever did was allow myself the space to love myself. Knowing that I have to battle every day. Knowing that I have, in these journeys, man, this hardship, this life I'm trying to create. It's like, man, some days I'm like, why bother? I could go just run companies and be fine. Why should I share this story? And I'm like, because there's a purpose. I'm driven to it. Because when I show up and I'm of service, and like, let's not get it twisted, man. Even Mother Teresa was like doing stuff because it made her feel good. Like, don't lie to yourself about this. It makes me feel amazing. And I know that I'm honoring who I am when I do this. All of that is to lead down this through path to this. You want to love yourself? Do the thing you say you're going to do. That's it. That's it. Can you honor the thing you said you're going to do? Because most people are like, Tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. I'm like, bitch, tomorrow ain't promised.
Yeah.
And people often reach out to me about my language. They go, do you curse all the time? You sound like you're mean to yourself. I'm like, nope, this is just my vernacular. My first word was literally fuck. I'm not even joking. That's the environment I grew up in. Imagine that, where that's a child's first word. And so I have to talk to myself in this way that gets me hyped up. Because sometimes you have to get yourself hyped up into the thing that you're trying to do. But at the key of all of those, you do the thing. And so basically one day I just said to myself, no matter what happens in my day-to-day, I will not go to bed without doing the thing I said I was going to do. And I don't.
Mm-hmm.
And some days it sucks a lot.
But you relish in the fact, too, that you got it done. It's like, for example, you don't want to work out one day. So many people, 9 times out of 10, people will just be like, I could just do it in the morning. And we all know where that leads to, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's why there's so many out of shape people who say that they work out and they don't actually put in the work. Where, like, if you put in the work, if you did go to the gym that one time and you didn't want to go, you come out of the gym feeling, I feel fucking fantastic, right? And that's how, like, your mind kind of shifts, right? By doing the things you don't want to do in that moment. You got to learn to be comfortable being uncomfortable, right? A lot of people say. And once you understand that, then it's like, oh, I can do all of this stuff. I can reprogram my mind to do things that I didn't want to do to overcome that little bitch mentality that's in everybody's brain and in everybody's bodies, whether you like it or not, to overcome that thing that allows you to be the person that you were truly meant to be. That really sets your soul on fire, too.
Yeah. Well, dude, look, I mean, you don't get to 350 pounds by accident.
Mm-hmm.
That shit takes effort, bro. I grew up in Indianapolis, right? In Chicago, up in the northern part of Indiana, up there is a restaurant that has the most incredible chocolate cake you've ever had in your life. I'm not even playing with you, get in my car twice a month and drive 2 hours to the nearest one of this place and get a whole chocolate cake, and I would eat it for breakfast for like a year, 2 years. Next thing you know, I'm 350 pounds, drinking my fucking face off, smoking all these cigarettes. I would drive, and here's what's crazy, man. I had the money to do whatever I wanted at this point, which is wild to go from literal poverty to making like 10, 15, 20 a month.
Mm-hmm. And you're just choosing to just kill yourself virtually.
But I didn't know. Mom's obese, grandma's obese, uncle's obese, whole family is. We all eat like garbage. I didn't think I had a salad till I was 20 years old. Like, not even joking. We never had it. And we were on government food. Mm-hmm. Government food's poison. Mm-hmm. Straight up. 100%. And so I'm going somewhere with this. Every single day, I would pack my gym bag and I would put it on the seat of my car. And after work, I would drive to the gym. I literally did this for probably 2 years. In the gym parking lot was a McDonald's and a bar. And I would sit in that parking lot and I would look at that gym bag, and then I'd grab my pack of cigarettes and I'd smoke a cigarette. I'd go to the bar. I'd go to McDonald's. I'd get in my car and I'd say, tomorrow. And you talk, like what you just said is so indicative of all people who do not have success. You can blame your DNA all you want, but it's a lie. You can look at anybody's habits. You show me your calendar, I'll show you if you're successful. I learned that from Brendan Burchard. Mm-hmm. That ain't mine. I wish it was, because it's fucking genius.
High Performance Habits, amazing book.
Amazing
book.
He's an amazing man. He changed my life. Here's how. I love that this just happened. I love the serendipity of this. So I'm on the internet, and I'm in this place where I'm at rock bottom, really. I'm on the backside of that mirror moment. So I'm just trying to kind of like figure this whole thing out. And an ad comes up for a Brendan Burchard course. Because, he's really like the first dude to create online courses for in-personal development. Mm-hmm. That's why he blew up. He was first to the race. I love this dude. And it was $50. It was like $49 or something. And I was like, I can't afford this. Keep in mind, I'm 50 grand in debt at this point. And I looked down at my shoes, and I got a pair of Jordans on that were like $300. And I remember thinking like it was just so abundantly clear to myself, going back into this concept of self-love. I was like, motherfucker, you care about those shoes more than you care about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, fuck it. I'm already 50 grand in debt. Swipe the card. Changed everything. It wasn't the course that changed everything. It was the willingness to bet on myself to go and do the hard thing. Spend the money. Go to the course. Go get on the plane and go to the conference. Read the book. Listen to the podcast. Go to the gym. Shed the 150 pounds. Quit smoking. Leave the relationship. Quit the job. Start the business. Fail the business. Start another business. Keep going. Build, 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 build. Learn to trust myself. Follow through. Be who the fuck I said I'm going to be. Leave relationships that were unhealthy. Ask the girl out. Like, dude, I only ever do exactly what I say I'm going to do. I will be the #1 speaker in this country in mental health. Watch. I'll be a New York Times bestselling author. Watch. I will have the greatest relationship, marriage, wife, kids ever. Beautiful lake house with an Audi R8 Spider. It's the only thing I really want that I want to spoil myself with. Watch.
And you need to speak that stuff into existence, like you did right there, right? There's a lot of people that will watch that video and be like, oh, like you were saying before, like they're just going to look at it and be like, okay, this guy's cocky, this guy's arrogant,
Yep.
this guy's full of himself. Why is that the mentality? Like, why is that a thing? Why can't people speak things into existence and then watch them manifest later and you just go, oh, I was an idiot.
If you
I didn't
don't
believe in them.
look, man, if you don't believe in yourself, who will? Nobody. Nobody. And people are like, man, that guy's cocky, that guy's arrogant. Good. Maybe that's what you need to get your ass together.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's what you need to be able to help you catapult yourself into possibility. Maybe you have to, like, it's intentional arrogance. Can you be arrogant enough to succeed? All great people talk about this. Tom Bilyeu talks about it. Kanye talks about it. Beyonce talks about it. Like, go look at them. They all say that there's a level of arrogance that is required in order to be successful. Because everybody's going to tell you can't do it. Dude, I've had so many people tell me I can't do it. I got a list. I know their names. Don't get it twisted. Sometimes I step into the darkness. I do. And I leverage that to go build and create light out of that. And if you, straight up, if you would have just laughed at me, or if you would have like downplayed my dreams, I'd have got up and walked out of here. We had an alignment.
Mm-hmm.
Because some of your fucking people are not in alignment with you when you tell them your dreams. And people, dude, we hear this all the time. You and I aren't saying anything new. We're not. But this ain't rocket science, man. It's very simple. It's 1 + 1. Does it equal 2 or not? Because if it doesn't, you are out of sync.
Mm-hmm.
Something's off here. Something's askew. Take inventory of that. Because you have to believe, man. You have to. And it's really only going to come. No one gives a fuck about your dreams.
Yep.
Nobody. And so it's like, do I support you? Bro, I will have your back as much as I can. But when it's 3 a.m. and you got to grind, because sometimes it is 3 a.m. and you got to grind. That's the nature of the game, especially if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a business owner, if you're trying to create something, right? Sometimes you got to get up at 4 a.m. because you have kids and you need to do your thing before they take control of your day. Sometimes it's working till midnight and burning the candle on both sides. Grant Cardone says my favorite thing ever of all time. Again, another thing I wish I said. He goes, candles have 2 ends. You might as well burn them at both sides. Now, again, I think that you have to be clear about your self-care and taking care of yourself, obviously, and I'm a mental health advocate, clearly. But I think about that a lot. It's like, are you playing all out? Are you showing up to this thing called life? Are you putting in the hours? Because if you're not and you're looking at the other guy, man, it's like you're missing the boat here. You're missing it because you're never going to have success in your life without struggle. It's impossible. I don't know any overnight successes. I don't know anyone in my life, in my circle, in my friendships, in my mentors who ever had success easily. I can't name one of them, you know? And so I think about that a lot. I've had a lot of failure. a lot of failure. I've had a lot of rock bottoms. I've had a lot of borrowing money from my girlfriend to pay her rent because I didn't know how to manage money. And then I've also spent $50,000 on masterminds, right? That's not that's not me gloating. That's me saying, okay, what am I willing to do?
Mm-hmm. I think that goes to show you too, in the grand scheme of things. That's why they're considered the 1%, right? The 1% of people that do exactly what they say that they wanted to do. They crush their dreams. They accomplish everything that they wanted to do financially, spiritually, professionally, personally. It's because at the end of the day, it's the most simple saying of all time, but actions speak louder than words.
Yeah.
And like you said, we've been just spewing back and forth stuff that's been said since the beginning of time. None of this is new, but for whatever reason, it's just that 1% of people that actually takes that into account. Like there was a podcast with Rogan and Kevin Hart one day, right? Where they talked about if there was a camera crew that followed you around every single day, what would you end up seeing? Like, because there's a lot of people that say they work hard and they truly think they work hard, but are you really taking accountability and actually being consistent with that work to get to where you want to be? Because there's a lot of people that think they really, really do work hard, but if they went back and realized, oh, I'm not where I want to be because I'm not, quote unquote, burning the candle at both ends, or just giving it 110% at what you're doing. Like I found that to be so fascinating, because there are so many people out there that think they know what they're doing, but they don't really truly realize their step-by-step process in getting to where they want to be.
Yeah. Well, and that's because they don't have a guide. They don't have a mentor. Like, seriously, like, you go look at everyone who has success. They all have mentors. I have one. You have one. Like, I need somebody in my life to coach me, to guide me, to be like, dude, you're missing this. A lot of it's forest for the trees. People are spinning in circles all the time in life because they don't have someone who's already did the thing that they're trying to do. Like, when I'm coaching my clients, what's really beautiful is that we'll sit down and say, what are your goals? And they'll lay them out. And I'll go, great, we can do all that stuff, especially the stuff I've already done. We'll shortcut it. You want to learn how to love yourself? I'll teach you how. You want to learn how to lose 150 pounds? I'll teach you how. You want to learn how to write a book? I'll teach you how. It's very simple when someone else has done it. Like, I think about this a lot. Like, the first dude who went skydiving, like, he's probably dead. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But the other dude who was watching, he was like, I think I can figure this out. And then the dude that was watching him said, I can improve that. And then on and on and on and on and on. And that's life. Like, you are going to walk through tunnels constantly in life. And some tunnels are shorter, and you can see the light from the entrance to the exit. And some tunnels are long, dude. Long. And they're dark, and there's potholes everywhere, and there's probably an alligator in there. I mean, I don't know, cocaine bear, right? There's crazy shit happening in these tunnels.
Right.
And I think to myself, man, I would much rather walk down that tunnel with someone with a flashlight who's holding my hand, who's been down that tunnel 500 times, than try to do that shit on my own. Mm-hmm. And that's the same thing I do for my clients, man. I'm just the guy with a flashlight. I'm just a step in front of you. I just happen to have gone down this path before. I just happen to figure out, and through having other people who I've walked those tunnels with, become the leader. And it's really beautiful. And the reason why people think they work hard and they're spinning circles is because two reasons. One, they don't have massive clarity about what they want. I just laid out the life for you. I told you exactly what it is that I want. Mm-hmm. I will do whatever it takes to create that and within my moral character. And I have coaches and mentors and guides of people who have done that thing to help me get there. Mm-hmm. You need clarity, and you need coaching, and you need a community. Dude, I have the best community ever now. I didn't used to. And I went out there and I made them. I figured it out. I said, how do I bring these people into my life? I didn't go, let me tell you this. Growing up, I had no friends. I don't mean one. I mean zero. I mean, when I was 12, nobody came to my birthday party. No friends. And as an adult, I thought friendship was, in my early 20s, let me phrase that. In my early 20s, I was like, all right, cool. friendship is me giving everything to other people because that will make them like me. One of the number one reasons, actually it is the number one reason I got in debt, was I would just pay for everybody's stuff everywhere we went because I made the most money of my friends. I was like, I'll pay for the bar tabs, I'll pay for dinner, I'll pay for this, pay for that. Not always, but a lot. And then I was like, that's stupid. And what started to transpire, I was like, okay, I'm not creating the community I want. Instead, I'm walking into communities that already exist. And I looked at it and I said, I'm going to go find the people I want to be around. And I'm going to cultivate them. I'm going to create a library, if you will, of my people. And I'm going to show up for them. I'm going to love them. I'm going to take care of them. And they're going to do the same for me in return. And the people who aren't in alignment, I'm taking them out. Not literally, but like, I'm not a mob boss, but I'm like, you're out. Mm-hmm. I love you. I'm here for you if you need me, but I'm not going to make an effort for you because you're not making an effort for you.
And that's the best way to look at it, too. It's like, I'm not cutting you out because of me. It's like, you need to work on yourself as well because you probably have had friends in the past that you could just see their potential.
Oh, for sure.
They're not bringing out the best versions of themselves because they're in those communities. They're in those circles that they shouldn't be in, but they don't know it themselves yet. And nobody's going to get you out of there except for yourself. How many, like when you look at your circle now, when you finally realize like, oh, this is what friendship is, you look back at all those other people and say like, they were never really friends. They were just kind of people that were there. It was convenient to hang out with them.
Well, no, not necessarily. I understand why you asked that, but no. Because those people, I believe, were being friends in the way that they knew how to be friends.
Yeah.
You know? Did I have some people who just leached and took? For sure. You know, I realized recently that I think that there's a fifth love language. At least for me there is. And it's reciprocation. Not reciprocation in that I'm going to do something only for the sake of getting something from you. It's reciprocation in, are you meeting me 50-50? Mm-hmm. Are you actually putting skin in the game in the same way I am? Because at the end of the day, anyone who says they don't want that is a liar. Like the people who are like, oh, I'll do anything for people. They don't have to do anything back for me. Bullshit. And those people who say that are the ones that hold it against you in 3 years. And for me, I'm like, the thing that I have in common with all of my community is we meet each other 50-50. We show up. We execute. We have each other's backs. We pick each other up when we're down. When one of our friends dies, we pick up the phone and call each other. We show up. And the difference between the friends that I had then and the friends that I have now is the friends that I had then, I fell into that community. I wasn't seeking it. I didn't have clarity. I didn't know what I wanted. I was just like, oh, here's people. Mm-hmm. I'm fucking alone. I'll go be with them regardless. Well, I'll give you a great example. Dude, I used to watch football Monday night, Thursday night, all day Saturday, all day Sunday. And that's all that these guys did. Mm-hmm. And so I'm just doing it. It's that whole look at your 5 friends, whatever, right? I've watched 30 minutes of football in the last 13 years. Legit. And the friends that I have, they care about one thing. Jack, are you showing up? Michael, are you showing up? Steven, are you showing up? Nancy, are you showing up? Liz, are you showing up? Damon, are you showing up? Jim, are you showing up? Like all these people, I'm like, they're going to call you and check on you and encourage you and make sure that you're playing the game. Because here's the thing. We all want each other to succeed. Dude, I hope this becomes the biggest fucking podcast in the world. I want you to succeed. And the people who don't, it's not even because they don't love you, but it's just because they don't even believe in their own damn dreams.
Or don't have any to begin with.
No, everybody has dreams, man.
There's a lot of people who don't have any clarity, though. Like, it's blurry.
Yes.
You talk about those people who watch, college football on Saturday, NFL on Sunday. You got Monday Night Football, Thursday night. You're just kind of like going through life. Like, oh, maybe you can become like an analyst or something. But that never really crosses some people's minds.
Yeah. And they could if they had clarity about it. And I'm not saying don't have your communal thing, Because like I love mixed martial arts. I will watch UFC with you every Saturday night. Like
Mm-hmm.
for real. That's my like respite.
Yeah.
But if that's the only thing in my life and I'm not pushing into other things, like I don't expect to be around great people. You know, and I don't expect to be in this room. And I don't want to harp and make people feel like they can't have incredible friends and that their friends aren't incredible. But it's like, take inventory, man. But look in the mirror first. Like, look in the mirror and figure out truth and measure the facts. Because if you look at the fact of the relationships that you're in, you'll know whether or not people love you, care about you, support you, want you to grow, or if, honestly, if you got a snake in the grass.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because when you fail the business, here's what's going to happen. Have you ever failed a business before?
Nope.
Okay. So I have multiple times. And so have many of my friends. And one time I failed one. And it did really well. Like we made 6 figures the first year. I was like 25, 26. And I was like, oh man, this is great. But the next year I didn't because I like dumb luck, beginner's luck, right? And I had a friend go, see, you should have stayed at that corporate job. I knew this was going to happen. I knew this was going to happen. I told you. I told you so. I'm like, I don't want that dude in my life. I want the person in my life who goes, man, that sucks. What are you going to do about it? What do you need to learn? Who can I connect you with? How can I help you? What do we need to do to get into whatever it is that you need to get into to solve the problem? And like, that's the kind of people I want to be around, you know, because as a kid, again, it's just that indoctrination. It's the lack of enoughness, the lack of abundance. Money, for instance, money isn't even real, dude. They printed trillions of dollars last year. Now we're suffering for it. It's not even real. And yet you can't go and get something that's made up, that's a construct. Why? Because you've been limited and told that you can't. Like when I'm coaching people who are entrepreneurs and they're underpricing themselves, I'm like, this is just a reflection of your belief. You believe that you're only worth $20 an hour. I've been there. I used to be a photographer back in the day, and it was a successful business. But in the beginning, I didn't know what I was doing. I'll never forget this. I went and photographed someone's Thanksgiving for $100. You know how fucking stupid that is? And if you hit me up now, I'd be like, yeah, I'll come photograph your Thanksgiving. It's $100,000. Because I'm going to give up my life for yours? Are you high right now? And that's what we do. We give up our lives, our dreams for other people because we've been told we should settle. Man, you got $20. Aren't you happy about that? No. And you shouldn't be. Because if you can measure possibility by the people who have done the thing you're trying to do, then it becomes possible for you. And like, it's within clarity, right? Like, I don't want to be a billionaire. I have no interest in it. It feels like the responsibility of that is exhausting, right? Do I want to make hundreds of millions of dollars? I sure do. Will I? Yep. When I'm able, when I'm capable, when it is my time, when I have paid my dues, when I have made my mistakes and had my failures and done the things that I have to do, it will happen. And in that process, because I have clarity about what I want, I won't get sidetracked. I won't falter because I know what it is that I want. And I think that's the key, man. All of this. If I told you, drive from New York City to San Francisco, but you don't get a compass, a roadmap, a GPS, guides, street signs, or the North Star, do you think you would make it? I'm going to guess probably not. Mm-hmm. Right? So how do you build and create a life with no clarity? How do you find the right partner with no clarity? How do you create the right business with no clarity? How do you find the right friends with no clarity? How do you have the body that you want with no clarity? The mind you want with no clarity? We're not taught anything. Like really, if go back to being a kid, outside of learning how to tie your shoes and wash your hands after you take a shit, like what really did you learn as a kid? Mm-hmm. Nothing. And there's no roadmap, there's no playbook. So you're literally creating it in real time. And so if you are willing to sit down for 4 hours at the beginning of a year or twice a year and go, this is the map of the life that I want, the people, the community, the friends, the money, the body, the hobbies, the goals, the health especially, it becomes your roadmap. It becomes your playbook. And then what you need to do is filter every decision you make against that. So you take your values, right? Your value system. What do you stand for? Who are you? Most people don't have values because you're not taught this. Again, you get indoctrinated into bullshit like go to college, but no one ever teaches you how to stand up and be the person that you are. Mm-hmm. So I look at myself, I go, what are my values? Honesty, kindness, leadership, self-actualization, no excuses. And I said, how do I measure those against the goals in all of the decision-making process for everything? Literally, coming and sitting here right now with you was a decision. Are we in alignment? Are you honest? Are you kind? Are you a leader? And I looked at you, and I was like, yeah, he does all those things. Jack does all those things. I'm in. Mm-hmm. Right? And when you start to filter decisions and everything that you, literally everything that you do through your values against the framework of the life that you want to have, on a long enough timeline, you'll have that life.
Mm-hmm. Do you think, to bring this full circle, you touched on the beginning, you always knew you were destined for greatness, even though you didn't know specifically what it was, but you just felt, you had an inkling, even as a little kid, like, I'm going to do something great. I'm meant for something great. Do you think hypothetically, you knowing yourself, that young of an age, going through everything that you went through, if you grew up with the white picket fence, the two straight as narrow parents, the average lifestyle that a lot of people grow up with, that have that mentality of, oh, you go to high school, you graduate from high school, you get your diploma in college, you get your degree, and then you're an employee for the rest of your life, which 95% of the world goes through, right? It's how you're trained, right? It's how you're manipulated, some might say. Do you think, knowing who you were at a young age, despite maybe having a better upbringing, do you think anything would be changed about your life?
I think that there are pieces of you that are just in your DNA that are who you are, right? But your environment, go look at it. Most success, right? Like, if you go look at the success in America, it is predominantly dictated by your zip code. Period. It just is. And so it plays a huge factor, and it would be really ignorant for me not to say that. It would be different if I grew up in that lifestyle. But I think there's some things inside of you that just make you who you are, right? And if you can honor those things and not shy away from them and not be scared of them and not have to stuff them down for the sake of other people, your life will be amazing. And so if I grew up white picket fence, parents who weren't alcoholics and drug addicts, my mom didn't cut off my finger, would my life be different? Yeah, but I wouldn't be with you. Mm-hmm. Keep all that shit. I don't want it. Mm-hmm. And so it's like you don't have a choice in this, man. Nobody has any say in what they're brought into. I don't remember, and woo-woo people will be like, yeah, you signed up for this. I'm like, fuck that. I did not sign up for this. But it led me here. And I honor it. Mm-hmm. And a lot of it has been through forgiveness. A lot of it's been through just letting go, right? Because I love that you asked that question, because it just really made me sit in this thought. It's like, I could leverage that perfect life as an excuse for why I don't have my dreams. Because average is comfortable. It's actually probably worse, honestly. Mm-hmm. It's probably worse to grow up average, to have average thoughts, average friends, average relationship, average money, average health, average community. Don't you want to be the 1%, man? Mm-hmm. I'm literally asking you.
Who doesn't? Who wouldn't want that?
The other 99%?
Like, I'll be honest, I had a great upbringing, to be fully transparent. 2 great parents who loved and support me.
Good.
Siblings, had it all. But at the same time, always had that itch. To figure out more. And once you figure out, like, oh, I can be whoever the hell I want to be. I can make whatever I want with this world. I don't have to be the employee of anybody. I don't have to answer to anybody. I don't have to do what I'm told to a degree. I can make the most of this world because the tools are there. I don't understand why I'm not being taught, to pursue this. It's because there's an agenda, right? But yeah, we had 2 completely different upbringings, to bring that full circle. But here we are still.
Yeah. And look, and there's with what you just said, there are people who have been around you who are average people who have said, man, you're a fucking egomaniac. Who do you think you are? You don't have to do what people tell you. Oh, okay, you're conceited. And you're like, nope, that's the DNA part I just told you about. That's that shit inside of you. I'll go throw you anywhere in the world, and that's how you will think.
Yep.
And you honored it, and that's why your life is what it is. You stop honoring it, I'll show you your path. Because then you end up where I was at 25.
Yeah.
Right? And so it's really just entirely about honoring your truth. I get canceled all the time. I don't care. You can't stop me. I've been through hell, man. I watch my friends get murdered. I've been massively in debt. I've been obese. I've watched people die around me, literally drop like flies. You think I'm scared that you want to cancel me on the internet because I speak my truth? Get the fuck out of my face.
Some people want average. Other people don't. You don't. And I don't either.
I'm glad you don't.
And I appreciate this conversation because this is what I truly crave in this life. This is why I do this show, to have conversations like this where you can be vulnerable about your life and share the things, and we can kind of go back and forth on some of our experiences to bring out the best versions of ourselves that love talking about this stuff. So I appreciate you coming in today. Sure. We're going to do this hopefully every time I visit Vegas because these are the conversations I want to have, right?
Yeah.
And obviously your show, Unbroken. Guys, check it out. This was episode 615 of the podcast. Remember to like, comment, subscribe on our channel at Jack O'Hara TV. Where can they find you on social media?
Yeah, I'm everywhere at Michael Unbroken, and you can check out the Think Unbroken podcast. It's Think Unbroken Podcast everywhere you listen to podcasts.
Remember, guys, stay unbroken. Check it out. Sweet.
Amazing.
And we literally, if we could have gone on for like 3-4 hours, dude.